Hey guys, Christian Black Flag Barbell here. Today we're going to go through the bench press. We'll go through a bit of the basics in terms of equipment, technique, all that good stuff, and hopefully help you guys out. Alright, so in terms of equipment, basics are barbell and bench. There is a fair bit of variation, especially if you're in a commercial gym environment, between those two things. If you are competing in powerlifting, then you're going to want to get, hopefully, as close as you can to the stuff you're going to be competing on. Yeah, doesn't have to be the exact same equipment. We've got an Eleiko combo rack here. We're lucky enough to have that. Doesn't have to be, brand name gear. You more want to think about the dimensions. So powerlifting barbell, at least for the IPF, when you bench, squat, deadlift, is going to be 29 mil thick. Yeah, so you don't want to have too thin or too thick because you get used to a different grip. The bench itself is going to be 30 centimeters wide and 45 centimeters high to the top of the pad. Yeah, doesn't matter, some benches are going to have a squishier pad, some will be firmer, some have really shit material, so you're going to slide around a bit. That's fine, as long as you have the same kind of height, same kind of width, so that you're going to be able to set and keep your position, and you're not going to get too jacked up when you go to compete because it's all different. Yeah, that's the basics equipment wise. So one of the important parts of the equipment that you are using is a very simple thing, but just the adjustment for the rack height for when you're benching. You want to have, the more adjustment the better, but you want to have reasonable ability to adjust it. So because this is a competition combo rack, we can adjust in 1 inch intervals, which is very nice. If you're at a gym where they've got one of those commercial bench presses where you only really have a really low height and a really high height, and you've got to pick one of the two, that is not ideal, obviously. You might be lucky enough that you fit in one or the other, but most people, at least for me, find that they're kind of in between and you've got to compromise somewhere. So if for whatever reason your gym doesn't have an adjustable bench, then my suggestion is just grab a squat rack and set up in there. Put a flat bench in, just set the pin heights down. Most squat racks easily have enough adjustment for pretty much anyone to bench in them. If your gym doesn't have a squat rack, then you need to find a different fucking gym. So technique for the bench press. Number one is going to be setting your shoulders, getting them into position and keeping them there. This is very important because the shoulder on its own is a pretty unstable joint. It's kind of like a golf ball resting on a tee. The stability is all muscular for the most part. So we can move it around a lot because the muscles dynamically switch on as needed to keep it in place. When we're benching, we only really want it to go one way. We've got that certain plane of movement. So we want to sort of solidify it, get it packed in real tight so that it's nice and stable and it's tight, it's not going to wiggle around under a heavy load. And the way we do that is by pulling our shoulders back and shoving them down, okay? So if we reach very far forward, this is the opposite of where we want to be. So we're going to pinch our shoulders together, and then we're going to use our lats, pull them down, get the shoulders away from the ears, and that's our position for benching. That's where we're going to bench from. Alright, so we've got our shoulders set, and then we're going to tie in the rest of things so that we keep ourselves tight throughout the movement. Okay? So we're going to take a big breath in our belly. That's going to connect our tight back to our hips and our lower legs. Your legs. That's a big breath in here. We're going to squeeze the bum. We're going to drive through the heel of our foot so that we're keeping the legs tight and not noodly. Alright, so bench press 101, putting it all together, we're going to have our shoulders back and down. We're going to take a big breath in our belly. We're going to squeeze our bum. We're going to be pushing down through our heels to keep everything tight. We're going to bring it down to our chest, just down to the bottom of the sternum. We're going to push up and back, and then we're going to re-rack. Okay? So the trick is just to keep it all together under the load. Yeah, you don't relax until you put it back. That's really all there is to it, it's just practice. So hopefully some of these tips have helped you out and give you something to work on. Like I said, it's just practice. Get it in, make it a habit, do everything the same way every time, and eventually it just becomes automatic. And then you get to big bench.